All right, so the trial of right-wing conspiracy peddler Alex Jones began this week in a case that will decide how much he must pay the family of a child killed in the Sandy Hook massacre. For years, Alex Jones used his show InfoWars to attack grieving parents by telling his audience that the Sandy Hook massacre was a hoax. Mark Bankston, the lawyer for the parents of 6-year-old Jesse Lewis, one of the 20 children and 6 adults killed in the Sandy Hook massacre, asked the jury to award their clients $150 million. The Austin American-Statesman reports that $75 million for damaging the parents' reputation and another $75 million for emotional distress. Bankston said the $75 million figure represents $1 for every American who was duped by Jones's lies, according to a poll that found 24% of Americans believe the Sandy Hook shooting was staged or might have been staged. It's one of the 3 jury trials Alex Jones will face to determine how much he owes the families of the Sandy Hook victims in damages. And the first witness to testify was the lead investigator on the Sandy Hook shooting, retired Connecticut State Police Detective Daniel Jewis. He told the jury that law enforcement put the Sandy Hook deniers into 3 categories: the mentally ill, those who believed false reports, and a third group.
This third group, we believe, were ones that absolutely knew that it was true. However, they were still going to use that opportunity to spin it for their own benefit, whether it was power or money. They were the most dangerous. And that's where we put Alex Jones.
Joining us now is Elizabeth Williamson, a feature writer for the New York Times. She is the author of Sandy Hook, An American Tragedy and the Battle for Truth. It's great to have you with us, Elizabeth. Alex Jones wasn't in the courtroom when retired Connecticut State Police Detective Daniel Jewis took the stand, but he was there when the lawyers for the parents of Jesse Lewis told the jury they were seeking $150 million in damages. What was his reaction to that number? And can you put that number in context for us?
Absolutely. So he was really shaken by that number. You could see him sort of visibly blanch, and he kind of shrugged. I was looking at the back of his head. I saw his neck turn red. And then he kind of charged out of the courtroom at the first break and started holding forth in the hallway, complaining that this was a kangaroo court and that this was a show trial, which is something he's been saying for years. But the context that you asked me for is this. This represents, even if the jury were to award the full judgment, it would represent 3 years of his revenues of $50 million a year. And actually, that's conservative because it was much more than that some years.
Tell us about the harm that Alex Jones's lies have brought upon these families who have already suffered the worst fates imaginable for anybody to experience in this country.
Sure. So what happened was, and there was testimony today as to Alex Jones's reach and influence. He is by far the most influential amplifier of these conspiracy claims, and he has been that way since hours after the shooting. So what has happened is that people who believed him, and it doesn't take that many because he has an audience of tens of millions of people. So those who really believed that the Sandy Hook a shooting was a hoax, a pretext for gun control, and that the families were complicit in this so-called government plot. That people came after them. They dug through their trash. They looked in their windows. They confronted them on the street. They harassed them online. They defaced and stole memorials to their lost loved ones. So they made their lives a living hell. And so finally, by 2018, the families had had enough, and the families of 10 Sandy Hook victims sued Alex Jones in 4 separate lawsuits, now combined into 3. He lost all of those. Whether or not he defamed them has already been decided. He did. He lost these cases by default. And now there are 3. This is the first of 3 trials exclusively for damages to decide, in which juries will decide how much Alex Jones must pay these families for what happened to them after he spread these lies.